Appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. I think a lot of people have questions about you, especially after the state fair performance. You just came out of nowhere.
I wanted to make a statement, that was for sure. I hope I did. And yeah, I'm hoping after the 19th, maybe I'll be taken a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. So how many? I guess how many months or how many weeks have you been arm wrestling?
Realistically, I've only got about 6 practices under my belt, and I've just kind of toyed around with the guys here. When it's been about 3 months, 4 months that I've been training in arm wrestling at all, that I've really even had any interest in it.
Which is really nothing.
Like most people, I had no idea it even existed, which is weird because I really enjoy combat sports in general. I do consider arm wrestling a combat sport. And it was just mind-boggling. Hey, my dogs get excited when I get excited, so bear with me there. But hey guys, let me take them outside. Give me 2 seconds here.
All right.
Come here.
That's all right. All right, so just so everyone knows, we're the 0 people watching right now. Oh, 2 people watching. All right, what's up? 2 people. All right, so we're going to be talking about the November 19th event, which is going to be including 2 guys from Kingman. We got Wade Pearl, and we got Michael Layton. So we're talking to Michael Layton right now. And there he is.
Sorry about that.
All right, man. Well, okay, so you've had, what, 6 practices, you said?
Yeah, 6 practices, but I will throw this out there that my teammates have done their absolute best to work the living hell out of me. Our practices last about 3 hours, and it's nearly nonstop. There's probably maybe a minute or 2 break when I personally am not on the table. The arm wrestling bug bit me hard, and I just don't have a lot of people to train with, or I promise you I would do more. I just want to pull like nonstop. That's the guys can't keep up with just the level of excitement I have of wanting to keep pushing myself to do more.
And how did you get into arm wrestling in the first place?
Wade, actually. We met at the gym. He was still in high school at the time. He just graduated recently, so believe it or not, nobody knows this.
Oh,
Wade's only 18. Yeah, he's in my eyes, that's somebody you want to keep an eye on for sure. But him and I were working out at the gym. He just moved here from Pennsylvania, didn't know nobody. And I'm a lot older than I look, and so I kind of like to reach out to the younger crowd and let them know that, hey, us old guys, not all of us suck. Some of us are kind of cool. Yeah. And so him and I kind of formed a relationship in the gym. I was kind of giving him suggestions about how to get stronger and stuff, things that I have done over the years that have really helped me out. He started implementing them. He goes, oh, wow, this works. And I saw him training real weird one day, at least in my opinion. It was weird. I did normal bodybuilding, like aesthetic type stuff. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm an arm wrestler. This is arm wrestling training. I go, what? He's all curled, all weird, doing stuff. Like, I think he was doing the whole letting it sink down into the negative and then pull it back up on the bench. And I was sitting there like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Don't do that. That's what is that even going to do? Like, and I come over, all trying to give him pointers about stuff. And he was really, this is the thing I got to say about him, so respectful. He let me talk. He goes, thank you. All right, sir, not a problem. And then went back to what he was doing. I was like, okay, hey, I can respect that. You heard me out, right? And so I kind of started paying attention more to what he was doing because this kid's strong. He was stronger than me. At the time, his arms were stronger than mine. And every lift he did, I couldn't do. And I said, hey, okay, now you got my attention because I don't like it when people are stronger than me. Yeah. So I wanted to figure out where this strength came from. And he said one of his buddies said, I want to see Mike arm wrestle you. And so we had this little ledge on the gym, or at the gym, where we put our elbows on, and he gripped up, and it just felt like a vice grabbed onto my hand. Oh, what is that? I want to know how to do that. And I stopped immediately. I said, nope. He goes, what? I said, no, you're going to rip my arm off. I could feel it. No. And he laughed and walked away, and it just sat in my head. Oh, it lived rent-free in my head for about a month. And I said, all right, man, what's up with the arm wrestling stuff? We talked a bit more. He started telling me different people, mainly Devin. As for normal right now, a lot of us new guys, we see Devin, the show, the spectacle he puts on, he makes it seem real fun. And I was like, dude, I want to do this. Okay. So a pay-per-view came up. I want to say it was King of the Table, whatever the last King of the Table was. Oh, wait, no, the one before that.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember who was there. Anyways, a couple months back, King of the Table. I said, hey, man, I'll rent it. I'll have barbecue. Come over. I invited a bunch of guys from the gym. He was the only one that showed up. And we ended up on the table there afterwards. I was so excited after watching all the matches. I was like, dude, this is cool. Like, I really want to try this. And so I asked him, I said, well, you don't really seem to be like doing anything. How can I help you get activated? As a young man, I see him kind of sitting stagnant. I go, how do I get you motivated? What can I do? He goes, yeah, I need to experience a loss. I haven't lost yet. I said, okay, well, let's jump on the table. So we got on my kitchen table, right? No pads, no nothing. We grip up. And I had been working a little bit, trying to get my arms stronger just so I could, brace for this event. And he hit really hard, took my arm almost all the way over, and I snatched him up right before I went down. I started holding, then my elbow popped. The loudest, most like
Wow.
nasty pop I'd ever heard. Both of us stopped instantly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's grab the yoga mats. So we grab some yoga mats, fold them up, put them on the table, and start going again. And from then forward, I have just been obsessed. Every day, I live, breathe, eat, sleep, shit arm wrestling. It's all I want to do. It's just something happened that day, boom, and that's all I want to do now.
I guess it kind of gives you a little bit like almost purpose to kind of what you're doing in the gym.
Yeah,
Except,
I was training with no purpose. You hit a nail on the head, 100%. I actually was telling those guys because I used to be a fighter. I used to do bare knuckle MMA stuff, like just kind of street brawling. I didn't
wow,
really like the professional side of stuff. I really enjoyed the getting down and dirty, just regular old people, and it was real fun for a long time. But you get tired of getting punched in the head after a while.
oh yeah,
And I'm getting older. A lot of people don't know this. I'm almost 40. I got kids. I got a wife, and that CTE and all that stuff is real. I'm not trying to get brain damage or something because I was a stupid boy and I couldn't stop fighting. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I was actually chuckling with a childhood friend of mine. He might see this. We were talking about when we were barely double digits. We used to form fight rings. Where I grew up in Oregon, as you see by all the chaos that happens up there, we don't mind getting down. We like to play. And as I've gotten older, though, I can't keep doing that. And this has reinvigorated that fighting spirit that I had nowhere to put it. I go to the gym and I'd train and I'd see these young cats and I'd see them rest around playing with each other. I'm like, I want to do that, but I know it's a bad idea because it's going to make me want to go full bore, and I can't let that guy out. That guy has to stay put away. He's been put away for a while, and this made me feel like I could let him out again. And so that's it's why I'm so excited.
do you feel like you're kind of like an all-in person where it's like you can't like half-ass it? You're balls deep in it.
I full ass everything. Yeah, full retard, 100%.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Most of us are full retard too.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm after. That's what a lot of it for me. My dad and I were talking about this the other day. I've always been somebody who likes to measure my strength against someone stronger because what other metric do you really have? You can only measure against yourself so much before you go, okay, well, I think I know where my limit is, but somebody else is going to drive me way more than I'm going to drive myself. And especially for me, I'm sure you can agree with this. I don't like losing. I just don't like. I vehemently hate it. A lot of guys are like, "Oh, it's a learning experience." Oh, I learn all right. I learned that's not going to happen again. And when I come back, oh, prepare. It's going to be hell. I do not like losing. So yeah, it definitely motivates me, not the way it does everybody else.
Yeah, one kind of big thing that helped me when I kind of started is you really don't know how strong or like the level in a certain sport is. Like probably, like powerlifting. You get into powerlifting, you bench press 350, and you're like, I'm pretty strong. Then you go to a powerlifting meet, you see someone bench 800 pounds, and it's like, okay, that kind of opens
Mhm.
up your eyes to what the limit is. So like when I started arm wrestling, I teamed up with the strongest people I can find, and I'm like, okay, that's where I need to get to. So, in Kingman, that's probably
See,
kind of hard because there's not a lot of people there that are into arm wrestling.
Absolutely. That, and I will say, I don't want to trash my community at all, okay? But people here don't really have the ability to keep themselves calm after something happens that they don't like. So basically losing. We've tried to contact multiple of the gyms. We've tried, like, a couple of the bars thought it sounded like a cool idea, have arm wrestling, and then immediately they thought about the fights that may ensue. And I'm like, that's the problem here, is that we're having an issue keeping the aggression controlled afterwards. We're trying to explain to these guys, like, look, we're giving you an avenue to be as monstrous as you can possibly be for a very short, contained amount of time, and then you got to put it back in the box. Calm the hell down. You got to control yourself. You still have to be a grown man here, but we're allowing you a chance to really just let loose for a minute. And I think once they start figuring that, I think once community grasps, oh, okay, we need to behave ourselves a little bit, I think it'll start growing a bit more.
Okay.
That's just, they're not used to that here. That's this place has grown so much just since I moved here. I moved here in 2014, and it's over doubled in size. Population's ridiculous. So a lot of people are just kind of scrambling, trying to figure out something to do. We don't really have a lot to do. And so a lot of the community does seem excited about this. We're just trying to find an avenue where we can get it where it's safe. We can teach people how to be safe in arm wrestling itself, and then also, keep themselves in check.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of my old friends, or I guess he's like kind of an acquaintance. He's in a motorcycle club, and he has a motorcycle, and what do they ride and stuff like that. Big burly men, right? And they have a bar that's a home base. So I'm like, hey man, can I go to your bar and can we do like an arm wrestling sort of video where you guys try to beat one of us, like a pro or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna go down very well. Because like them losing, they're like,
oh yeah. No, you're right. Sorry. Before, I was just looking at that comment right there. Don't let me forget to address that. But my dad and I were talking about that as well. We've been going over, like, he really was curious where I'm looking to go with this, how far I'm willing to take it. I told him I'm all in. He goes, okay, well, how are you going to make money doing it? I said, well, there's money to be made, but it's a little sketch, because if you have to wonder if everyone's going to keep themselves under control after, if it's a big purse, somebody doesn't like how they lost.
yeah.
It is what it is. I'm good because I don't care about money. To me, money doesn't matter at all. Especially in this, zero bearing on.
Yeah, don't get into arm wrestling for the money. There is no money.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's something you're wanting to do frequently, you got to think about how you're going to pay for the fuel and the place to stay. You got to feed yourself when you go places.
Yeah.
Make sure your nutrition stays up. Things like that. Yeah, it's definitely something you have to think about, depending on how far you want to go. And I think that's something here in the state. I know a personal goal of mine is I would just like to help our arm wrestling community grow in general. That seems to be something that we should, or I shouldn't say should, but we need to focus on here. Even just the individual areas. I think it would be great just to see our community grow in general. With John Brzezinski down there, I don't see why arm wrestling is not huge here. I was actually quite shocked that it wasn't like way bigger than what it is.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like when I got into arm wrestling, and Todd Hutchings, well, around 7 or 8 years ago, Todd Hutchings used to live in Kingman, I believe.
Wasn't he? Yeah, he was up here.
Yeah, so Todd Hutchings would drive 3 hours to Eric Wolf's house, and then John Brzezinski would go over there, and they used to all just train, like, just, whatever. And now we're just like, it's like mind-boggling,
It is. The side pressure king, man, I really wonder what that feels like. See, for me, I feel like a kid in a candy shop. I see all these guys that are just extraordinarily strong, and many in unique ways. And I can't help but just sit here like a kid going, wow, what's that like? I want to know what that's like. And so for me, a lot of this just feels like a stepping stone to measure myself of where I'm at now and what I need to do to get up there, to figure out what that feels like. My goal is to attain as much strength as possible and to dominate in this sport as much as I possibly can. However far I can get, that's where I want to go.
All right, let's address the question now. So for Michael, your opponent November 19th. Who is the best person you've beat so far?
So far, so the problem with the fair tournament is I have no context of the caliber of who I beat. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how good those guys were. Um, and I have to state this. I walk a very fine line between cocky and confident. A lot of things that I say may come out the wrong way, but I don't have a filter, so I just say things. Those guys felt like nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, if you go back and watch the videos, you can see my face drop in disappointment every time. I thought I was going to lose the first round. I really did. Before I left, I was panicking. I was telling my wife, I was like, "Oh my God, I just hope I don't get hurt. I hope that I can just make it through the first round and that I'm
Yeah.
just competitive." I don't know how strong I am, but I know I'm god awful strong here. I know
Mm-hmm.
when there's no one in the gym that's stronger than me unless they're like 100 pounds more than me. Um, our super heavyweight Joe, he's got a lot to learn, but he is no slouch. He is a strong guy. The match coming up with Brugger, I'm looking at this as a measurement stick for me. This guy supposedly, from what I can see, has all the same qualities I see in myself here when I
Mm-hmm.
train with my guys, and the same thing that I applied when I was at the fair. Nobody can break my wrist. Nobody can move it yet. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's someone out there who can move it, but I haven't found him yet. From what I can see, Brugger's wrist looks damn near unmovable too.
Uh-huh.
Even when Joseph hits it, he still keeps his wrist. Every time I've seen him, I saw one
Mm-hmm.
time where Joseph that I've seen in a video. I haven't done a whole lot of research, but as a fighter, I can't help but research my opponent. That's just something I do. And so, I started seeing more and more videos, and I'm watching, I'm going, okay, he does this, okay, okay. And I see the smirks on his face when he does it. I'm like, dude, this is like, it just looks like younger me. We're both named Michael. We're both left-handed. I mean, everything that I'm seeing, I was like, it's like little me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully I get to teach little me a lesson and little me doesn't kick my ass.
So do you know how good? Okay, so you saw the match versus Michael and Joseph, the kind of the short Tom Cruise looking guy. And do you know
I
do you know
love
how?
that kid, man. He seems so cool. I can't wait to meet him and practice with him. Like, he's
he's
just
nuts.
so fast. I don't want to take away from Brugger, but I just love watching. He goes down, he comes up, he congratulates you before you even get a chance to know what happened. I'm sitting there
Mm-hmm.
watching, going, "Oh man, what's that like?" Boom, good job. You're like, what?
Do you have any idea how good Joseph is? Have you kind of?
No, unfortunately, from what I've been seeing in arm wrestling, there seems to be a really big gap between like your daytime hobby arm wrestler and these dudes that are just
Yeah.
killing it. There's a huge gap. And that's where I'm trying to figure out where I stack up right now in there. I've only got a couple months in. I know my technique needs a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not concerned about my body so much. It's technique for me. Like I said, at my age, I'm going to be disappointed in my body if it can't at least be strong enough to keep up with a 20-year-old kid. I'm not saying he's a kid. In my eyes, I'm looking at him like, dude, I'm old enough to be your dad. Okay,
Yeah.
if you can out muscle me, I'm just going to be disappointed in myself in general. It doesn't have anything to do with arm wrestling. Um, but considering what I've seen myself do so far, I really, I really will be shocked if he can beat me. I think once I figure out the first initial hit, that'll tell me whether or not I've got a shot. From there forward, I'm gonna know. And
Mm-hmm.
if not, I'm just gonna fight like hell, and learn while I'm on the table, because that's every time I pull, I learn. I have so little table time. Everything translates right back in, and I take every match home and I go, okay, learn from that. So.
Yeah. The reason I chose Michael for you is because he may not be like 200 pounds or whatever up to your weight class, but technically he's like one of our best sort of pullers, I think. Where it's like he's not the strongest guy, but he's constantly like adjusting. I mean, it took me like over a year just to beat him. So,
There's something
um,
about him. You can see there's something about him. He has, in the fighting world, we just call it that something special. You see him, you're
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, that dude got that. That's something special right there. Yeah, he's got that. I imagine if he did some sort of MMA or BJJ or something like that, like I
Mm-hmm.
imagine he'd be good at that too. He seems like a dude who's just good at stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it seems most things probably come easy to him. You can just tell by the general facial expression while he's pulling. Doesn't even seem like he's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And hardly at all. I think Joseph is the only time I saw him struggle. I watched that video where he ran through everybody in the King of the Table deal just over and over and over. Boom,
Oh
boom,
yeah, I couldn't
boom.
beat him then.
Whoa, whoa. I mean, this kid has lived rent free in my head for about a month. No joke. Watching all these videos, everybody messaging me, telling me what I need to worry about where and like what I should be doing. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's even concerned about me. Wow, this is cool. I haven't felt like such an underdog since I was a kid, maybe, dude. Like me, what Pee Wee football when I had the eighth graders kicking the shit out of me. Like that was about the last time I felt like I was a real underdog. And then coming in being the bigger guy, it puts a lot of pressure. I think all the pressure's on me. If he beats me, it's kind of whatever. He humbled the new guy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
meh, okay. He beats everyone from what I can see. If I beat him, that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the new guy walked in undefeated and
Yeah.
just beat him and walked away. What happens then? You know what I mean?
So, and
I don't know if that's
what's your
gonna happen.
prediction
I have no idea.
in 5 rounds? What's your prediction?
You know, I am confident in myself to a stupid level, to where I would fight anybody. I don't care how big they are. I don't care what it is they want to fight in. I'm dumb like that. I will fight until I can't fight no more. I don't know. I never say who I think will or won't, because it's always a big what if. At the end of the day, you're always guessing, right? I think what I lack in table time, I make up for in pure unadulterated rage. And I'm just not sure he's experienced something that I'm going to be bringing. An element to me that a lot of people just don't have, and I'm excited to let him experience it.
So you think you're going to win 3-0?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think he can move me.
Really?
I think my back pressure is on a level closer up toward you guys.
Wow.
I
That's
can
awesome. I hope so.
I can hold a 300-pound man just locked, all his weight in a press, and I can just hold him. And everyone's saying endurance. They're saying, oh, you're not going to beat him in endurance. Oh, you guys don't know nothing about me though.
That's
Like,
right. We don't know anything.
How
We
do
don't
you
know
know?
anything about you.
You don't. Yeah. Like you want to see an endurance game? Okay, let's play endurance. I'd love to just sit in a hook with him for a while and just wait and see what happens. It'd be beautiful.
Speaking of
I
lifts,
want to know where he's strong, and I don't, like the other day I saw him rubbing his elbow when he was with Joseph. I messaged him immediately. I said, hey man, if you're hurt, let's not do this. I want you 100%. I want everything that everybody is telling me you are. I want to know if I'm as good as what my team and people that are messaging me from all over the world. People are watching my matches and they're messaging me going, dude, you've been doing this for how long? You keep going. And I've got, I don't want to name drop because it would be really cool too, but I'm just not going to. I've had like legit pros from like big name pros, top tier dudes, 20-time champions that have been giving me tips and kind of grooming me along up to this point. And they're all telling me you're going to run over top of him. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Wow.
I don't do that. I don't know. But am I confident that I am? Oh, hell yeah. I'm never going to say I'm not. I'm never going to not believe in myself. It'll, the table's going to decide what happens.
So your lifts, you said your back pressure is really strong. Do you know your PRs on back pressure, side pressure, pronation, riser, wrist flexion, stuff like that?
So I'm not sure if the way that I do my lifts applies the same way everyone does. I have the pulley on the table here, and I use little judo belts that I've made, different attachments
That's
So
kind
I've
of
got
cool.
this one here that's got a knot on it so that I can actually do pronation while I'm doing my back pressure. So I'll come into the back pressure and then at the last moment hook in and pronate towards me. I can put about 90 pounds on each thumb and just do pronation, like just like this. I can just do pronation with
Okay.
90 on each thumb standing. My hammer curls are about 100 pounds with dumbbells right now.
In what way? Like
Yeah, yeah,
a middle to top, or like bottom to middle, or
like from here up, just
oh, like
do
to the
just
body.
coming across the body. I can't remember what they're called, but I like doing them that way because you just get more of an overall workout throughout your whole
Hmm.
body. I don't really enjoy just isolating because I work for hours. I don't have a job. I'm technically disabled. This is everything to me. This is it. So I spend all day training, and then when I feel like I've overtrained, I stop and I rest until I feel like I can train more, and then I just go and go and go and go, and hopefully I'm strong enough.
Nice. And before I forget, let's
Mm.
pull up that poster real quick. Tell us a little bit about Wade Pearl. He's also an unknown to us.
Oh, Wade. I could say so many great things about Wade. Um, I think once he figures out where he wants to be with his strength, he's right now in a transitional period where he's focusing so much on technique that I think some of his strength gains have kind of fallen. And unfortunately, pulling
Hmm.
with me so much and watching me just go like this and him kind of sitting, I go, dude, I'm 39. My body is seasoned. Like I have all the newbie gains of stuff I've never done before. I've never done these lifts. I never worked my arms. I never did any of this stuff. So I'm
Hmm.
getting things that he's already worked on. He spent the last year doing all that stuff. He's his body's still growing. He's still young. So I think he's being pretty hard on himself right now, trying to measure himself to me. I think once he stops doing that, he is going to get out of his own head and he's going to be a freight train. I know he's gunning for Joseph. I'll tell you that right now. That is
Oh
his. I
God.
keep having to tell him. I say, "Hey man, he's not the enemy." He goes, "I don't care. I gotta beat that guy." I go, I know, but just remember, like, keep it in your head. That's our buddy. He's cool, but yes,
Uh-huh.
you need to beat him. I want to see you beat him. He is a monster though. The fact that he just the amount of pain he is willing to put himself in to win. He doesn't care what part of him breaks. He will give you
Hmm.
his fingers. You can twist them and bend them whatever way you want. It's like he doesn't feel it. He doesn't care. He just wants to win so badly. And it's that match against Brugger. That was real unfortunate. He got in his own head. He went for a flop where he normally doesn't actually intentionally go for a flop. We got done, we were talking about it, and he was just thinking about pulling me, and he did what he thought would work on me, which was go for the flop. And I could tell after watching Brugger, I was like, that's no, that was a terrible idea. Just the
Hmm.
way he looked at him and snatched him and pulled him over, and all that lit Wade up so much. And I think the way that we're going to see at this match here is going to be a completely different dude than who we saw at the fair.
Hmm.
This dude is really aiming to pick up where he can see that he left off before.
So Wade he also competed at the state fair.
Yes, he did. He got kind of shafted too. He only got one loss. He didn't get to get the two losses like everybody else. So he got one round eliminated, and that was it. And I am pretty proud of him for not getting too angry. Most of us, this means the world to him. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. None of this would be happening right now had Wade and I not met at the gym. I have him to thank for every single amount of progress I have made to where I am today. And he's been here at my side the entire time. Extremely supportive. So, you know, to me, it's more important for me to see him thrive in this than me. I just want to give him an example. Hey man, let's go. If I have to lead the way for now, okay, but I want to see him take over later.
Hmm.
And this really means more to me to see him succeed than anything.
Well, the better your team is, the better the guys you pull with become. The stronger they are, the better you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be, because it's more. You're going to be able to work against more resistance. basically.
Well, they've all grown quite a bit. Having to pull with me as I've gotten stronger these past couple months too. You can just see all of them are getting a lot stronger.
And so, what have you spoken to Wade about? Because I don't know too much about Donald, but does he have a
I know
strategy or
nothing.
something?
I know nothing about Donald. I don't know because the only example we have was watching Joseph flash pin him. That's it. That's the only footage we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only real example we saw at the fair. And both Joseph and I were talking about it, and we were like, that's not fair. That basically just doesn't count.
Yeah, you get
So,
no
so
information
yeah,
from that.
we have neither of us have any idea. We've talked about it a few times. I'm sure we'll discuss it later today in practice. I'll probably just go left, but we're gonna have a light practice today, and I don't really think he has one. I think it's really just go in, feel him out, see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of go from there. I know for me, my pulling style is, from what I can understand, not very traditional in arm wrestling because I still have that fighting training where we go off of reactionary impulse versus planning something. So for me, I walk up, I empty my head completely. I have no plan. I don't know what I'm going to do. I feel what's happening. I feel if I can find any type of weakness somewhere. Hell, if I can feel a tendon that's smaller than the other one or something, or smaller than somebody, if I have a comparison, if I can just feel where you may be weak somewhere I can exploit, if I can jam a finger in somewhere, if I can do something, that's where I start to put my head. And I've been trying to train my teammates to basically do the same thing because getting yourself out of your own head is going to be the best way to react to whatever your opponent's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And very few people can stay in that mind state for too long because usually, in arm wrestling, your opponent hits, he does whatever maneuver he's going to do, and then you have to decide what you're going to give them and what you're going to try to take so that you can gain some sort of advantage, right? It's always a give and a take. And if you go off of a reactionary impulse versus a plan, you're more than likely going to react appropriately versus panicking,
Mm-hmm.
doing something, and maybe they purposely did what they did to give you that so that you gave them what they actually wanted. And then they just roll you right over. So, off of reactionary impulse, you can almost feel if somebody is purposely giving you something. There's this kind of like, here you go kind of feeling. It's like, hey, I don't feel right. No. We're not going to do that. So that's a lot of how I go at it, and I've been trying to get them to approach it a very similar way. I think if he goes at it that way, I think he'll be solid. He's a monster. Once he gets out of his head, he is a monster because
Mm-hmm.
he can pull with me all day long. He gets tired. He doesn't have the gas I do.
That's cool, man. I think we're all wondering kind of what this Kingman team is up to.
I hope I'm training some monsters up here. I hope so.
What I want to share is your YouTube because I didn't know you had a YouTube, and then you're like, "Oh, I have two and a
Oh,
half thousand
the
subscribers."
automotive,
The
yeah, the
automotive.
automotive channel, yeah,
Let's check that
yeah,
out, man.
monkey wrenching, and that's why the nickname Monkey Mike, and up here they've been starting to call me the Monkey King, just because they're kind of blending the King of Kingman, or the King from Kingman,
So I
and then
watched this one a
monkey
little
wrenching.
bit. So what do you do? Are you like a mechanic or something? Hobbyist of
I
some
I
kind?
bu- I build things that nobody else does. I find things that have never been done before by another human, and I create it. I make it a thing. I have the first of many vehicles to exist on this planet. My
Nice.
Dodge Ram V10 Turbo is the only one in a factory package that has not been modified. All I did was put a turbo on it, and it makes 1,100 foot-pounds at the
Wow.
wheels. It is just a disgusting monstrosity. That's actually why I call it the monstrosity. And then there you can see the banner there. That's my compound turbo Miata. That's one of the fastest Miatas known to man. It's 400 wheel horse, weighs about 1,800 pounds. It makes 10 psi at 2 grand and 40 psi at 7,200, and that's on low boost. That whole setup is capable of sending that engine to the moon. So
Well, that's something you and the other Michael share in common. I think he's into cars too.
yeah. See, here's the funny thing is he's a Mercedes guy, right? I'm a BMW guy. Like him and this is going to be the beginning of a sweet rivalry. I am very excited. I hope that I beat him because I want to wake him up. That's part of my goal here with him is I can see everybody's just not there's no competition for him from what I can see. There's no one's giving him a run for much. You either beat him or you don't. There's no like kind of middle ground. And I'll even be forthcoming with what my plan is right off the jump. I'm going to try to hold him. I want to see what he's got. From there, I'll figure out whatever I'm going to do. But I want to catch him. I want to hold him, and I want to see can he move my wrist? Can he pull me? Is his technique? Because if he's smaller, there's the chance of him being stronger than me. At my age, my tendons are very seasoned. I have been beating the hell out of my body for a long time, and I have never broke anything. I don't really see this kid being able to move me. I want to measure that. I want to see if he can. Okay, where do we go from there? But if he can't, I'm hoping maybe I can wake up something that nobody else has yet, because I just want to hold him. I just want to sit there. My goal isn't to slam him to the pad. I think I could do that no problem. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, there's certain.
Nope.
You know, I've kind of figured out his sort of technique and everything like that because I've had a couple of matches with him, and some of the stuff you're saying is like what not to do with him.
I've seen him do. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, and that's the thing too. Here's the thing about me. Like I said, I'm kind of dumb, and I know I'm kind of dumb like this. You tell me one thing, I'm gonna do the other. And even if I know you're doing it, even if I know you're trying to like reverse psychology me, I might do it and then do it over exceptionally just so I can look at you and go, there you go, and walk away. I have been, anyone who watches this who knows me is going to be smiling and laughing, going, yep, that's what he does. I am over the top everything. So, yeah, I'm going to do what everyone's telling me not to do.
Dude, just go full retard.
Yeah. Look what I did with Will. I let him set up with his shoulder. He was almost completely sideways, leaned in. If you watch the video, I'm telling the ref, dude, we're halfway over to his pad.
Yeah, it's on
already.
his side. Yeah,
we were like this, and I was like, dude, move us over. What are you doing? He goes, oh, I'll fix it before we start. And I start getting mad. I'm just like, are you serious right now? This is what we're doing. Fine then. Okay. And then I knew he was going to press. I knew he was going to flop. That's the only thing that my team can do to even move me is a flop. That's like all I train for is holding on to the stupid thumb, not letting him get away from me. And I just yanked that thing down.
Yeah.
So I was like, go ahead, dude. Set up for it. Do whatever you want. There's nothing here. And I'm not trying to be mean to Will. No disrespect at all. He was the only one that gave me any kind of fight, but that's because I let him. I set him up because I wanted to see, okay, these other guys, the guy in the pink, the video that we didn't get to record, I felt so bad when we went to leave. He sounded demoralized. He comes up to me and he goes, good. He had a pink wife beater on. And real nice kid, real nice guy. Not trying to disrespect to anyone. Everyone was extremely kind to me. But he comes up and he says, man, like you're strong or something like that. And I said, oh, thanks, man. And I felt bad. I wanted to give him a compliment, but I felt like I would have been lying because there was nothing. He went to me, he yelled, he screamed, he pulled, and I just sat there and I was like, oh,
shoot, I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
That's what
now.
I'm saying. Like, I'll send you a screenshot later, so you'll know who it is. I could probably do it real quick if I go through it, but
yeah, I could probably if it is who I think it is, I can tell you a little bit about him.
He seems like a nice guy. The dude, what was his name? He wore the mask. He had the bright yellow shirt on.
Let me tell you about him. Let me tell you about him. He's okay. So the guy you're talking about with the mask. So if you look at my screen, let me maximize some of this stuff. So right here is the kind of the weight class that we're looking
that's
at.
Ryan, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So you
Ryan.
beat number 5, Ryan Robinson, and he's
Hmm.
not the strongest guy for sure, um, but he's very technically good. One up
Okay.
from him is Bruger, and then one up from him is Victor, then Kirby, then Aaron. Aaron, very very good. He's in Tucson,
Yeah,
so.
say Aaron looks dominant. I can't wait to figure out what that feels like. I was watching them practice yesterday. I think the Gorilla Arms posted their
Hmm.
training video.
But your weight class is this one, isn't it? How much do you weigh,
I
Michael?
just I just sent you the video right now. Okay, so and here's the other thing too. At the fair, like I was so sick. I had just got done being sick for like 5 weeks. I think I had 3 days to recover before I went down there. I was like pretty much as empty as possible.
Hmm.
I think I was 188 that day,
Wow.
like empty. I was like 188. Yeah, it was. I'm at 198 right now. I could easily cut back down, obviously, but right now I feel good. I feel strong, like probably stronger than I've ever felt right now. I have definitely trained in every way I could possibly think of to get ready for this. If
Nice.
I know what I lack in technique, I want to try to make up for in just raw strength. Is all the videos I've watched of the guys, they have said that as long as you have the general fundamental properties of arm wrestling, if you can just overwhelm your opponent with strength from there forward,
Hmm.
as long as you apply the fundamentals, the strength will overwhelm any amount of technique. You just have to be
Absolutely.
able
Yeah.
to hold
100%.
on and drag him over. That's really it. And that's kind of where I'm looking at here is he's going to have to use technique and I'm going to have to use muscle.
Hmm.
That's kind of where we're at. Unless I have learned more than I really am giving myself credit for. I'm really good at downplaying myself because I found that not lacking confidence. There's a difference in lacking confidence and downplaying yourself before you go do something. Because when you speak stuff, you're speaking it out to where you're hearing it, everybody's hearing it. This is becoming a thing. When you keep it inside, that's stuff that you can still change. Hasn't come out yet, right? So when I start telling people, they go, "How are you going to do it?" I don't know. I go, what do you mean? I don't know. Because if I say, "Hey, I'm going to win," I may not bring everything to the table. I may leave something in the tank. I may not give everything I have, and he may the first hit he may pull me apart, and then from there I may be compromised. So I need to give everything right off the bat, no matter what. No amount
Hmm.
of how do I put it, certainty in what's going to happen. If you stay in that level of uncertainty, I feel you will put more into anything that you do. It doesn't matter what it is, because you haven't told yourself it's done yet, and it's not done till it's done.
Yeah, the cool thing about having 5 rounds is you can kind of figure out, you can kind of play with it a little bit. You like, I want to try this, or because you have, plenty of rounds. If it's best out of 3, you don't have really much you can play with.
Those for super matches, it just seem like they're lackluster. I don't see the point in having those because, like, I'm one of those people that gets stronger as I go, not just warming up, but even when we practice for 2, 3 hours, I literally keep getting stronger. Here's a good example. So I started implementing Devin Larrett's what I call incremental 1 rep training. He does his 2 lifts. He really likes to do the ones where he just does the one where he stands up like that and holds it, and then he puts it on
Hmm.
his thumb and he does pronation. So what I changed on that, because I really like my back pressure and I want it to go up. So I took one of these pulleys or one of these attachments, put my hand in it like that. I have it coming from the lowest position possible, and then I just load it up with as much weight as I possibly can, and I do the exact same lift, but I just come this way. And I
Hmm.
do it as long as my arm does not come apart and that weight comes up a little bit, good enough for me. I did that for an entire day, every 20 to 40 minutes. I started hitting maxes I'd never hit before. Throughout the day, even before I went to bed, they were higher than they were at the beginning of the day. Never experienced anything like that in my life. I didn't know, at least for me, that even though I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, it just kept going and going and climbing. I was sitting there going like, okay, I'm almost up to 100 pounds of just pulling back. Nothing is compromising. My riser doesn't compromise, and I'm putting it right on that knuckle, just like he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't grab onto much, right? And then I just yank it back. Just try to stay together and just pull it back. It's just going up and up and up. So I have no idea, you know, with this kind of training, sky's the limit at the moment. Everything is getting stronger. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, judging from your lifts, I mean, sounds pretty strong. All right, I got your video. Let's review the video. So this is who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have the whole video. That's just the setup. It got cut off before we were able to go. But when he went, it felt like there was literally nothing there.
Wow. So this is Zach. His name is Zach Mendelstein. He's actually pretty legit.
Is he?
So let's see if we can learn anything from this.
Yeah, I'll say it just cut
this is
off
all you have?
pretty much right here. Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry, I thought you might have looked at it before you put it up. But yeah, just we gripped up. He pulled. I mean, he went this way and was yelling and screaming with everything he had. Face started turning purple, and I just looked at him and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he hasn't been too active as far as going to practices, but when he does show up, he literally goes to all the tournaments. I mean, when he does show up, he usually does pretty good.
I felt really bad because he looked demoralized when we left. He goes, "I wish I had something to offer you." I go, "Oh man, no, you did great." He looked at me and goes, "No, I didn't."
You did just good, like kid.
Just dead. It was kind of why I left, because I was gonna stay and like say hi to everybody. And I remember when we first met, you were like, this is a calm tournament, and I'm like, not for me. Nothing is calm. Everything is serious. Oh, like, wait till I show up on the 19th. Once the match is done, please, everyone come say hi to me. I'm gonna be super duper like regular normal person like this right here. But I promise, before the match and during the match, it's a whole other guy. It's like this me is not here. Consider it another personality at this point. It's a whole nother dude. And I go into that, and I don't like to lose.
All right.
So I will do anything. Yeah, I'm willing to let it break too. I don't care. Break it.
Go ahead. Right, we'll have you sign the waiver first.
Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Any last parting words? I mean, Michael, I bet Michael's pretty mad after this. It's gonna be great.
Good. I hope you wake up. Hope you eat your Wheaties before you go, bud. No, thank you. Thank you for doing this. None of this would be possible without you bringing me into the group. The fair wouldn't have been possible. I do have a question about that.
Yeah,
we might as well do it live. So that event was not happening before you and I had our conversation, right?
What event? The state fair?
Yeah, there was no state fair event before you and I, I messaged you and then you started messaging other people. Was that even a thing?
I don't know.
I could find zero information. You told me there was nothing. You said, hold on, let me message my guys. Let's see. I think you messaged Eric. Eric messaged Steve, and then we had an event. Yeah, so I was just curious, like, if that's how it happened, like, for me to have won that event is just, it means the world to me, because that was my first event. It was the first anything I did. You brought me in. I wanted to make sure that I performed well. I didn't want to just show up and be like, hey, I'm just a guy. Like, I wanted to kick some ass. Let everyone know, hey man, Mike Layton's here. I'm here to play. Let's go. Who wants more? Like, after this, if I can beat Brugger, I think we've already got another challenge in line. I don't want to say any names yet, so hopefully I'm excited about that.
Did somebody already challenge you?
Yeah. Well, hell, I'll just say Jesse did. Yeah, Jesse.
Oh,
Jesse said if I could beat Brugger, he said if I can beat Brugger. And I'm hoping hopefully I can wake Jesse up a little bit too.
Jesse Hollick?
Maybe I'm hoping maybe if I beat Brugger, maybe he'll go, oh, look what we got here. Hey, wake up, boys. Wake up. Somebody's coming. Come on. Y'all
Oh,
look like you're a little bored. Let's go.
you went from a 185 pounder to like a 235 pounder right there.
Cool. Bigger the better. I don't care.
And
That's
Michael
what I'm
has
saying. I mean,
actually.
that's I'm really excited to see if Brugger. You know, I would love to see somebody smaller have that kind of fight. I love it. It's inspiring to see, because to think where he could go later. You know what I mean? Like I can see that kid has a breast. I keep calling him kid. I'm sorry. That dude, that young man, has a very bright future. He does. Watching him and Joseph, I'm like, dude, you're gonna go somewhere for sure, because we can already see Joseph the Giant Killer for sure. And to see Brugger just sitting right underneath him, like, come on, man, yeah, you're gonna go places for sure. I'm excited to see where his future takes him. I know for me though, I don't have that kind of time. Um, you know the whole fuck around and find out scale. Mine goes to
Mhm.
11, so let's find out.
Let's take you to the deep end immediately.
Let's go full force.
All right, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate you too.
All right, November 19th, 9:30 a.m., buddy.
Let's go.
All right, over.